بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ومن الناس من يقول آمنا بالله وباليوم الآخر وما هم بمؤمنين.
And among the people who say, we are assured in God and the last day, and they are not assured.
يخادعون الله والذين آمنوا وما يخدعون إلا أنفسهم وما يشعرون.
They deceive God and those who were assured, and they do not deceive only themselves, and they do not know. This means that the hypocrite tries to deceive God by saying, we are assured, but God cannot be deceived. Why then does the hypocrite try to deceive God? They do so because of their ignorance. An assured person would not try to do so because he knows that God cannot be deceived. When the hypocrite deceives God, all the hypocrite does is deceive himself. In what does the hypocrite try to deceive God? They try to deceive God by showing assurance to others and hiding denial in order to realize their personal interests.
في قلوبهم مرض فزادهم الله مرضا ولهم عذاب أليم بما كانوا يكذبون.
In their hearts disease, then God increased them disease, and for them a painful torment in what they were lying. That means that their hearts are not pure. They try to appear pure, and they try to hide their evil and spiritual diseases that they have accepted for themselves.
وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ لَا تُفْسِدُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ قَالُوا إِنَّمَا نَحْنُ مُصْلِحُونَ.
And if it is said to them, do not make corruption in the earth, they say, that is that we are good doers.
أَلَا إِنَّهُمْ هُمُ الْمُفْسِدُونَ وَلَكِنْ لَا يَشْعُرُونَ.
Is it not that they are the corrupters, but they do not feel?
وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ آمِنُوا كَمَا آمَنَ النَّاسُ قَالُوا أَنُؤْمِنُ كَمَا آمَنَ السُّفَهَاءُ.
And if it is said to them, be assured in the same way as the people were assured, they said, is it that we should be assured in the same way as the fools were assured?
أَلَا إِنَّهُمْ هُمُ السُّفَهَاءُ وَلَكِنْ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ.
Is it not that they are the fools, but they are not aware of it? What is a fool? A fool is a person who does not know what is good and what is harmful.
وَإِذَا لَقُوا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا قَالُوا آمَنَّا وَإِذَا خَلَوْا إِلَى شَيَاطِينِهِمْ قَالُوا إِنَّا مَعَكُمْ إِنَّمَا نَحْنُ مُسْتَهْزِئُونَ.
And if they meet those who were assured, they say to them, we were assured. And if they were left to their devils, they said, we are with you. That is that we are ridiculous making. It can be explained that after they declare to others that they are assured in God, when they are alone, they leave the assurance in God. An example is, when others see them, they pray, to show others that they are assured. But when they are alone and no one sees them, they never pray. And who is called a devil? It is everyone who does not follow reason and obey God.
الله يستهزئ بهم ويمدهم في طغيانهم يعمهون.
God ridiculous makes in them, and he provides for them in their tyranny, blinded. This means that it is God who ridicules them, in response to their ridicule of the religion.
أولئك الذين اشتروا الضلالة بالهدى فما ربحت تجارتهم وما كانوا مهتدين.
These are those who bought misguidance in guidance, so their trade did not win, and not were they guided. An explanation for this verse is that they had in front of them the Quran and the Prophet, and they were knowledgeable in their religion. But they did not follow it because they preferred other things of life, and not only left the obedience of God, but use the obedience of God as a pretext to gather more of the pleasures of life.
مثلهم كمثل الذي استوقد نارا فلما أضاءت ما حوله ذهب الله بنورهم وتركهم في ظلمات لا يبصرون.
The example of them is like the example of the one who lit a fire. So when it lit up, God took their light and left them in darkness. They cannot see. A possible explanation for the verse is that the light stands for the guidance that one receives from Islam, which illuminates man and strengthens sanity. When the hypocrite receives this light, he misuses it by deceiving God and the assured, and therefore God goes away with his inner light, and when the hypocrite's inner light goes away, then he will not be able to benefit from the light of religion. And then the Quran continues saying, deafness, dumbness, blindness, hereby they will not return. This can be interpreted as they will not return to guidance, because they were initially guided, but chose to be deceived with that guidance they received, and thus they themselves will not be able to understand the guidance anymore, even if it is in front of them.
أو كصيب من السماء فيه ظلمات ورعد وبرق يجعلون أصابعهم في آذانهم من الصواعق حذر الموت.
Or like a storm from the sky. In it, darkness and thunder and lightning. They put their fingers in their ears, in caution of death.
والله محيط بالكافرين.
And God is surrounding the disbelievers. Darkness can mean doubt and suspicion, and by lightning it is meant the lightning of the Quran. They are afraid of it. Because of the characteristics of the hypocrites is that they are cowards. In another chapter of the Quran it is written, they think that every scream is on them. Always, when a verse comes down, they are afraid that it will expose them.
يكاد البرق يخطف أبصارهم كلما أضاء لهم مشوا فيه وإذا أظلم عليهم قاموا.
It is almost as if the lightning were to kidnap their sight. Whenever it shines upon them, they walk in it, and if it darkens over them, it makes them stand up.
ولو شاء الله لذهب بسمعهم وأبصارهم إن الله على كل شيء قدير.
And if God willed, he would have walked in their hearing and sight. That is, God is all-knowing. It can be explained as that when religion suits their interests, they go with it, and when it does not, they stop. That when they get from the pleasures of life that they are after, for example, money, lusts, positions, everything that benefits them and is in their interests, then they like it and they go after it. But when it becomes dark, when this that they were after disappears, then they are exposed, then they leaves God. There were no hypocrites in the Muslim nation before the Battle of Badr. On the contrary, in Mecca there were some of the assured who declared themselves to be deniers. They hid their assurance so as not to be persecuted. But after the Battle of Badr, when the Prophet was victorious with his followers and the Muslim nation became stronger, some hypocrites entered the Muslim nation to collect profit. So some of the Al-Ansar were hypocrites. The Prophet Muhammad learned from God about 14 hypocrites only. These were preparing a plot against the Prophet to kill him when he was on the mountain of Tabuk. Therefore, God let him know who they were and about their plot. Otherwise, God says in his book, and of the people of Medina hypocrites, they did not turn away from hypocrisy. You do not know them, we know them. There were hypocrites among the Muslims that the Prophet did not know who they were. But God exposed some of their characteristics, and the Prophet treated the hypocrites in a very forgiving and merciful manner. Omar asked the Prophet about executing the hypocrite Ibn Salul. Then the Prophet said to him, "Do you want people to say that Muhammad kills his followers?" This video was made in obedience to God and his messenger. Our leader and chief, the purest of creation, Prophet Muhammad. And we ask God to accept from us this little, And we ask you about your prayers.